If someone is a believer, they die physically, then they become part of the cloud of witnesses, and they may be assigned to come and do it. They're surrounding us, so they are actually part of the atmosphere that we can engage. And sometimes God may send them for a particular reason, or they may desire to continue to encourage or help somebody that we're close to. Um, I've encountered lots of those personally who've been sent. Esther, David, Daniel, Joshua, Joseph, quite a few who I've just engaged, Jacob, who have come in this realm and engaged me here in the spiritual atmosphere around me. And then I've engaged a number of them in the realms of heaven for various reasons, from various purposes. I have on 2 or 3 occasions felt led to ask the Father if I have a mandate to engage with someone who has just passed on, with a purpose of either comforting the one loved one who was left behind, or in some way to give me some insight into how I then could legislate or administrate that. And I've done that a few times, not that often by any means, because I just don't feel led to do it. But I know you can. And I would always ask the Father, do I have a mandate to do this? I have engaged in ministry to bring people back, who had passed but weren't their time to die, and I've sort of gone into the cloud of witnesses and sort of encouraged them back a couple of times. So there's lots of different things around that, which I think is perfectly valid. I think in it, the thing is the motive. Am I doing it just out of a selfish a need that I have, or is there a bigger purpose in it that God would have me engage? And of course, God's a compassionate God, and he wants us to be comforted, but he is the comfort. He carries our griefs and sorrows. So primarily, I would encourage people to pursue engaging with God and not another being, whether it be their past lover, because I think God is much more able to carry griefs and sorrows and minister healing to us than another person. But at times, just the knowledge that they are where they are and that they're okay can be a comfort. I would sort of encourage people to pursue God primarily, not to pursue the person. If God opens that realm for that person to come, it's because he instigates it, not that we are trying to draw that. I think there could be a danger that we get drawn into an unhealthy relationship rather than a healthy one. On the flip side of that, there are, through trauma, the souls of people who don't pass on and get stuck here that need help to pass on. And I think you've got to be very careful that you don't get connected to one of those in a wrong way, because that can become a codependent relationship. So, when someone says, oh, they saw their son who died traumatically, blah, 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 I would be cautious in that situation, because that could be that son has not gone because of the trauma, and they're connecting to someone who isn't part of the cloud of witnesses. And therefore, I don't think there is a valid thing to engage them other than to help them move on. And they can affect us in a negative way. I know Arthur Burke and the Daltons in this country, they minister to people who have been afflicted by what they call alien human souls or spirits, or lingering human spirit souls, that have a negative effect on people, and therefore connect, usually familiarly, to family. And that can have a negative effect. And it could appear to be comforting, because it's almost like you have a connection with someone, but they have not really left this realm. And if they're believers, they will have left. So they're probably not yet believers, and you have to help them to engage. And that could be quite difficult if you're using that as a codependent relationship. And again, God is the God of comfort. He's the one who can help us deal with the loss of somebody. We don't, it could be unhealthy and dangerous. But, if that person was a believer and they came back because God sent them, that's a different thing.